I'm Augustus. I'm traveling in the United States to listen to the Americans I meet and to tell them about my candidacy for President of the United States in 2028. I'm here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm standing at the Pennsylvania State Capitol, a building Teddy Roosevelt once called the handsomest building I ever saw. Completed in 1906, this Renaissance Revival landmark sits at the heart of the Keystone State. It serves as a monument to the industrial and political power that helped forward this nation. It was here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were signed, setting the world on fire with the idea of self-governance. Pennsylvania's state motto is virtue, liberty, and independence. To me, that isn't just a historical slogan, it's a living requirement for leadership. It means the virtue to put the public good above personal gain, the liberty for every citizen to pursue their dreams without being crushed by the cost of living, and the independence from a political system that has become beholden to everyone except the people it's supposed to serve. Pennsylvania is the Keystone State, a name that reflects its central role in holding the Union together. It's a state known as the birthplace of democracy, being the bedrock upon which the American experiment was built. It's also known for its coal and steel spirit, from the steel mills of Pittsburgh to the anthracite mines of the Lackawanna Valley. And it is a tapestry of communities, a place that powers American agriculture and innovation, yet remains deeply rooted in the traditions of the Pennsylvania Dutch country and the heritage of the Susquehanna Valley. But it isn't just the geography or history that makes Pennsylvania important, it is the strength of character of Pennsylvanians, people who value community, who aren't afraid of hard work, and who understand that virtue and liberty and independence are hollow words if you can't afford to pay your medical bills. This is the 42nd capital of my 50+1 capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but for other presidential candidates, it could be considered unnecessary, maybe even a waste of time. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days, not to give motivational speeches, but to listen, to hear about how the rising cost of healthcare and the recent property tax concerns are affecting your peace of mind, to hear about the energy costs that hit so many families this past winter, and the debate over how to make the Keystone State affordable again for the next generation. It's time we make the security of the families who are currently holding the whole country up on their tired shoulders the country's top priority. Unfortunately, it seems to me we're being led by people who only care about the next 24 hours, while you're focused on the next 24 years. They're focused on their bank accounts, while you're focused on feeding your family. To lead in Pennsylvania, you have to be honest enough to say what everyone already feels. When the people who work our farms, teach our children, and run our local shops can't afford to live in the communities they serve, something is broken. It isn't about the system anymore. It's about the fact that hard work in the state used to buy you a future, and now it barely buys you a month of breathing room. To lead the whole country, you have to know the whole country, and you can't know the country from a high-flying jet, a speeding motorcade, or a gilded office in D.C. You have to drive the Pennsylvania Turnpike, admire the Allegheny National Forest, cross the mighty Mississippi, and visit the beautiful Smoky Mountains. Having lived in 7 states and visited all 50 at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you can never stop learning. That's why I'm visiting each state again, and I will continue to do so both during my campaign and during my tenure in office. Now, you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 65 years ago. I've spent much of my life working just like you. I've seen presidents come and go and industries rise and fall, and I've seen as the people who actually make this country run are treated as sheep or cattle. We've stopped looking at the person behind the work, and it's time we started seeing the human being again. You may be asking yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. You need to decide for yourself what qualified means to you. To me, being qualified means working as hard as I can to help the most people possible. Think about the people who meet in this capital or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are qualified in your eyes? How many of them are working to make your housing more affordable or your prescription drugs manageable? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten the primary requirement of their jobs, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists. They shouldn't represent their party, and they definitely should not represent the ultra-rich. Your representatives and the President of the United States should represent you, period. I stand for the people, not for corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the ultra-rich and rich who seem to treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think their way is the only way. I believe in a land of freedom and opportunity, not a land where out-of-state interests squeeze the life out of the towns you've called home for generations. Why consider an unaffiliated, unconventional candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of having to choose between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a medical bill and a grocery run. While a vote for a candidate who isn't a member of one of the two major parties can be scary, isn't it scarier to have to choose between bad and worse? Choose to vote for someone who will actually work to make your lives better. Vote from compassion, not fear. I'm headed to Trenton, New Jersey next. I have 8 capitals and hundreds of miles yet to go. When you see me in your state later this year, don't just take a picture. Come over and say hello. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus, and I'm here to listen. I'll see you in the state where you live. And not for the... Um, I don't know why, but I always have to burp right in that place. Maybe because I swallow air instead of breathing it down into my lungs.
Blow, blow, blip, blip, blip.
And you can't know the country from ice. Keen's Pennsylvania.